Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Adidas Don Issue 5. So of course this is Donovan Mitchell's signature shoe with Adidas. It's his 5th shoe and we already know what his 6th shoe is gonna look like, which is weird. This shoe just came out like a month ago. So yeah, I don't know what Adidas is doing with their leaks. They should keep it a little bit more tight, you know. But anyways, this shoe is retailing for 120 bucks, right? So I feel like, you know, that's a pretty good price, especially for a signature shoe. And I like how Adidas is keeping like the like Dame's shoe and also Donovan Mitchell's shoe kind of like more on the budget side of things. And the Trae Young's is more like mid-tier pricing, and the Harden's are a little bit more high tier, you know, like 160 bucks. But again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave a free link in the description box. But let's get it started right off with the Tracciones, and we have some circles. We got some circle patterns or pods here in the forefoot. We got 2 of them and 1 here in the heel, and the rest of the outsole is herringbone, right? And the color is different as well. And how is the traction? So first of all, when I first got it, it wasn't that good. You know, I needed to break it in, and I needed to break it in for a little bit, like 2 days. For the first like 2-3 days, it wasn't amazing, right? It wasn't terrible, but it just didn't have amazing stops. So you do need to break it in, but once you do break it in, it actually does get pretty good, right? So if you're playing on a clean court and you let it break in, you have pretty good stops. I wouldn't say it's amazing. It's not top tier traction, like comparing to like the Austin Reeves, like the AR1, the 808 threes, you know, the Jaw ones, the LeBron 21. However, it's still a pretty nice stop, you know. So I don't really have any terrible issues with the traction on a clean court. However, if you're playing on a dusty court, it does pick up dust a little bit, and also it's affected by dust a good amount, which I don't like, right? So yeah, if you're playing on a clean court, you're gonna be wiping a good amount. And it's not super easy to wipe off either. It's not terrible, but it's not like a 1-2 easy slight wipe. You have to really kind of get in there, wipe off all the dust. And then once you do that, you have some pretty good stops, but like it still picks up dust kind of quickly. It wasn't super quick, but I did find myself wiping a good amount as well. So if you're playing on a dusty court, probably not the best option, right? It wasn't terrible though. It wasn't terrible, and I wasn't sliding around all over the place, and I didn't like hate it, but I did kind of like want to switch into a better shoe that had better performance on dust, you know, when I was playing in the Don Issue 5 on a dusty court, right? So just be careful on a dusty setting. If you're playing on an outdoor court, I feel like you should be okay with these kind of pods, right? Especially where the ball of your foot is. That's kind of like where you're like a high wear area, you know, you're putting a lot of pressure right here. So this part, the rubber is a little bit thinner and also feels a little bit softer, so this doesn't feel too durable. But with the like the larger herringbone traction pattern, that definitely feels a lot more durable, right? But then we also have a smaller herringbone here in the tip of the toe, which doesn't feel as durable. So I am a little indifferent. I mean, I feel like this part will be good, but this part and this part, especially the high wear area where, like, you know, in the forefoot, I don't think this will last as long on an outdoor court. So I feel like it'll be okay on an outdoor court. Of course, take it with a grain of salt. I didn't play it with this shoe on an outdoor court. I'm just kind of like giving you my speculation on how the rubber feels, right? So the overall traction, I had a pretty good time. You know, usually I play on a pretty clean court, and it was raining like a week or 2 ago. So when it was raining, I had a really good time playing this, right? So it was like super humid and super moist for the court, so it was gripping really well. But then this week, it was actually very dry. It's getting super duper dry for the winter here, and it's been very dusty and dry on the courts. And the Don Issue 5 hasn't been stopping really well for me, so just be careful on that, right? So there's that. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, it's overall very smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice rounded shape and also fully exposed light strike midsole. So it's very soft. You have a nice soft compression here in the heel. And then the forefoot, we have a very nice curved shape, which is unprecedented. We haven't had this in a Don Issue for a little bit, you know, especially in the 1. You guys remember the 1? It was freaking flat. The 2 was a little bit better. And I guess it did get better as the line progressed, but the 5 definitely, it feels the smoothest, right? So we have a very nice curved shape here in the forefoot, and also we have a good amount of forefoot flex, which makes this shoe very smooth for heel to toe transition. And also we have a midfoot chain plate, right? So we have pretty good torsional support. So there's that. Moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup also is very nice. We have full length light strike, right? And the light strike is very soft, especially here in the heel. If you're compressing the heel, you have a nice compression. It's soft. It feels very comfortable. And it does get lower to the ground here in the forefoot, but it still feels pretty nice, right? One thing I don't like about it though is the step-in comfort. The step-in comfort kind of sucks, right? So first of all, the insole is not that nice. We have a pretty crappy paper stock insole that Adidas usually gives us, so that's not very nice. And then underneath that, we have a pretty stiff strobe board, right? Once you break it in, it does get a little bit softer. So you can feel the light strike a little bit, or once you really get going, right? Once you really start playing, you can feel the light strike underneath your foot a little bit, right? For underfoot cushioning. But I mean, I've been playing in like, you know, the Shockwave 5 Pro. The Shockwave 5 Pro has an amazing, really soft mesh strobe board, right? Which feels awesome for stepping comfort. So coming from the Shockwave 5 Pro to this, it kind of, you know, you definitely feel the difference, right? And also shoes like the Zion 3, which, you know, your foot is right on top of the foam for the drop in midsole. And also like, you know, like the LeBron 21 or the KD 16, you know, which I kind of switched around playing in those. It does feel way better in those shoes for stepping comfort compared to the Don Issue 5, right? So I wish they would at least put like a little hole in the heel, you know, like they did in the Harden Volume 7. The Harden Volume 7 had a nice hole so that you could feel the boost a little bit more, you know what I mean, underneath your foot. But anyway, stepping comfort is not that nice, but overall impact protection is really good, right? Overall impact protection is good. As far as the court feel goes, it's not amazing, right? I would say it's around average court feel, which isn't terrible, of course, and for the amount of cushion that you're getting here in the Don Issue 5, I definitely feel like it's worth it. But if you do want court feel in your shoe, then obviously this isn't the best option. But if you're looking for a very soft cushion with a good amount of impact protection and also a good amount of compression and also comfort, then this is a great cushioning setup. And honestly, I did like it. I just wish it had a little bit better stepping comfort, right? So there's the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the upper. So the upper, especially when I first got it, I really didn't like it. It's a super duper stiff synthetic material, which I don't like. They did say it's an overall like recycled material, which I do like, you know, save the earth. But overall it wasn't very nice when I first got it, right? But once I started breaking it in and once I started playing it, actually it gets a little bit softer, right? It's still pretty stiff though. You know, it's still a pretty stiff upper, but it's not as bad as, you know, when I first got it, of course. You can see all the crease marks. You know, I don't know if it's coming up on camera, but it does crease as well. So if you don't like that, then obviously this isn't the best option, right? Mesh doesn't really crease. But yeah, I do like how supportive this material is though. It feels really supportive. It's like one of the most supportive materials that I've seen on like a modern shoe, you know what I mean? So I really like that as well. Now, obviously for durability, it'll be really good too, right? You have all this here in the toe box, especially if you do toe drags, and also with the synthetic material, it's gonna last a long time, you know? And honestly, it conforms to my foot pretty well too now, you know what I mean? Like when I first got it, it was pinching my toes, my foot a little bit. It wasn't painful, but it was kind of uncomfortable. But now that it's broken in, I don't feel that at all. It didn't really take that long to break in either, like a couple days, you know? So it feels really nice here in the toe box, and it's pretty much the same exact material here in the midfoot as well. And then for the tongue, we have a burrito style tongue, right? Which I haven't really seen a whole lot in the past couple years, right? So it's a tongue that kind of connects on the medial side right here, and it kind of wraps around your foot like this, like a burrito, you know? And also on the lateral side, the tongue is connected to like an elastic band, so it kind of stays in place, which I do like as well. But the tongue doesn't have that much padding, right? So there's that. And then here in the ankle area, we don't have that much padding as well. I would say it's around average maybe. And we also have this kind of flappy thing here going on in the back of the shoe as well. But yeah, the overall material quality, I would say isn't the best. It feels kind of cheap, you know, and it does have a lot of crease marks, but on foot it feels nice, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel super cumbersome. It's not super stiff anymore. I love how supportive it is, and honestly, I mean, it's not like a super like thick material either. It actually feels like more on the thinner side of things, or like when I first got it, you know what I mean? So honestly, it broke in really nicely, and I like it right now, right? So there's that. Moving on to the fit. So I went true to size, and this shoe fits me extremely well. I would say it is a little bit tight here at the tip of the toe, right? Lengthwise, I'm pretty good, right? My toes go very close to the edge of the shoe, but like right here, I can feel like the side of the shoe kind of squeezing the side of my foot a little bit, right? So it is a little bit narrow as well, and then also here in the toe box, it is very snug. So it's a really snug fit for me going true to size, which I do like. I like a really snug fit in my hoop shoes. I wouldn't really walk around casually in it though, you know what I mean? Because it is pretty tight. If I'm walking around casually, you know, just walking around outside or whatever, I'm going to the mall, this fit is a little too tight for me for that. But if I'm hooping, I like the really snug fit, right? Going true to size. So yeah, if you want a super snug fit, then go true to size. If you don't like that, then probably go up half a size. If you want a little bit more room, right? And if you have a very wide foot, probably go up a full size, because this is a pretty snug fit. But for me, like I said, it's a very nice fit. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, yes, it's absolutely amazing. Even if you're a bigger dude, like if you need support, this shoe is one of the most supported shoes that you can get right now, right? Super duper supportive, especially with this upper, right? With the synthetic material. Also here in the toe box, we have a little bit, I love this design with the circles, or I guess these ovals, but it's this plastic material here in the forefoot, and then here in the midfoot, we have the foam coming up a little bit, and also the 3 stripes logo. It's like this plastic. Then here in the heel, we have the foam coming up, and also an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment, you're gonna be good to go. Your foot is not coming out of the footbed at all, right? And like I keep saying, this upper is super duper supportive, and also width wise, it is a very wide base here in the forefoot, so lateral stability is good as well. And I had zero issues with heel slippage or anything like that. So yeah, my foot felt super locked into the shoe, and I really liked it, especially with the really good fit for my foot, right? So support and lockdown, amazing, and even if you're a bigger dude, you should be fine. And then moving on to the weight of the shoe, it comes in at 12.6 ounces, and let's check the other shoe. 12.5 ounces. So that's a lot lighter than I initially thought, right? So when I first got it, I was like, yo, this shoe looks really, or feels really stiff, right? So I thought it was gonna be a little bit on the heavier side of things, but it's actually not that heavy. That's pretty much average weight, right? So it feels like an average weight, you know what I mean? And also the weight distribution is pretty good. It doesn't feel super bottom heavy or anything like that. And also it's a responsive shoe. So my foot felt locked into the shoe, and also I felt very quick in it because when I was playing on a clean court, I had really good stops. The cushion is pretty responsive and all that. So yeah, it's a really nice shoe to play in, right? And now moving on to the aesthetics, I love this shoe. I definitely feel like this is the best looking Adidas hoop shoe right now. Like I love the ovals, right? How they kind of kept that theme with the shapes. I love the 3 stripes logo here in the midfoot. And also, did you guys see like the all white color with the black accents? I also really like this colorway as well. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. And also ventilation sucks. There's really no airflow through this entire upper, even through this mesh. You know, there's an underlaying material. You can see the ventilation holes, but that doesn't really do anything. Also, there's an underlaying material. So yeah, this shoe's pretty hot. But now wrapping things up, yeah, this shoe pleasantly surprised me. The Don Issue 5 is definitely one of my favorite hoop shoes in his entire shoe line. Like I haven't really liked the Don Issue line all too much. I would say the 4 is definitely one of my favorites before the 5, but now the 5 is definitely my favorite. This is a solid performer. And it makes shoe as like Donovan Mitchell's shoe. You know what I mean? He's very explosive. He needs support. You know, he is pretty shifty. You know, he does cuts. And also with the cushion, he's very explosive. He's very athletic as well, so he needs the cushion. So yeah, this shoe is really nice. I love playing in the shoe. And it's kind of a weird guard shoe because it doesn't have amazing court feel, and it has really good support. You know what I mean? Which, you know, guards don't typically need as much. But if cushion is something that you prioritize, right, with the light strike, and also if you need a lot of support, but also this shoe doesn't feel super heavy or bulky or anything like that, or cumbersome, then this is a really nice option. Honestly, I really enjoyed playing the Don Issue 5. You know, it's definitely not one of my favorites. It's not gonna be like top 5, top 10 in my personal opinion. However, it's still a really nice shoe. I definitely feel like a lot of people will enjoy it, right? And also, if you're a bigger dude, this is also a great option. You know, the cushion with the light strike, you have adequate cushion, and also the support of the upper, and also the overall shoe is really good in this shoe too. So the Don Issue 5 is a good shoe for most play styles and most positions, right? So anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the Don Issue 5. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I tried to leave the free link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.